I know this video is going to come off kind of weird overall. I don't usually make videos like this because if I sell something, I'm just like, whatever, I sell it. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. People don't care. I don't care. It is what it is. People can buy and sell whatever they want when it comes to anything legal, at least when it comes down to it. But when it comes to video games, get what you want, play what you want, whatever it is. But I think that with the Nintendo Switch 2 coming out, now that we got the big reveal and we got the treehouse stuff and the games, and we're starting to see what's going on, I've had this Steam Deck OLED for I think a year now or so, and I've probably put about 20 hours or less into it. And I've talked about it before on my live streams how I don't really use it, and I think it's a fine device. Like, if you like Steam Deck, if you think it's great, it's cool, man. Like, I'm down with it. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff with it, and I think that it's awesome. But after seeing the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct and seeing what games are going to be coming, and seeing the fact that you can get a high quality in terms of the screen and the resolution and the dock and how everything works, and how my frustrations with the Nintendo Switch are kind of alleviated, like with the Nintendo Switch 2, they fixed so many things that I had an issue with over the base system. The Steam Deck for me was kind of like, okay, well, what if it doesn't go so well with the Nintendo Switch 2? Or what if there's something to where there's a problem or whatever? I should probably hold on to this system until then. But now after the presentation and some of the hands-on have came out, there's really no need for me to keep the Steam Deck at all. And I've definitely already sold it. So I felt that this was the last opportunity if I was going to talk about this, because I never talk about it in videos normally. But if I was going to talk about it and do this video, it'd be not at this point before I have to actually ship the Steam Deck out to someone that bought the Steam Deck. So I wanted to talk about it because I did pay the full price for it. It was brand new when I bought it, and I thought it was going to be something to where I put a lot of time into and stuff that really can't run on Switch. I'm going to be like, okay, cool, I can play it on here, portable. But it ended up being a device that I ultimately started tinkering with all the time. Like, anytime that I tried to play it, you gotta tinker with the settings, you gotta look online and see what are the optimal settings, you gotta download updates almost all the time, which updates are a part of everything. Like, it's fine, and once again, it's not hating on the Steam Deck. I think it's a great device for those who want it, or if you're going to buy a Steam Deck now because you're not interested in the Nintendo Switch 2. That's also cool. I have no problem with that. Enjoy, have fun. But for me, the constant tinkering, the constant updates, the constant bloating of all these different features and options and things, and just the constant, will it play or not, or how does it play, or is it optimized or not, or here's great on deck, here's not, here's unsupported, my Power World doesn't even work at all. Like, it's never worked. People tell me Power World works on Steam Deck. It's never worked on my Steam Deck. I'm looking up stuff. These are the type of things that have just drove me nuts, especially when I go out and I'm like, okay, let me take my Steam Deck with me out portable, but there's some type of update, or there's some type of thing, or there's some type of something that happens with it, and it constantly happens. I mean, it is a massive device, and the Nintendo Switch 2 is also a big device, but still, I think the Nintendo Switch 2 is smaller than my Steam Deck OLED, and anytime that I played something, it always seemed like there was some type of really small text that you have to fix, or some type of compatibility thing. But yeah, a lot of games work, and it's cool, and if you can get things going, it's awesome in that sense. And I'm, once again, 100% on board with anybody that wants to play it. But I do think that there is a correlation between the people online that sit there and say it's like the greatest thing, and it actually not actually selling like it's the greatest thing. Now, of course, there are times when something can be really good and it doesn't do well, but I don't think that's the case. I think people just don't want it overall, and I felt that it'd be something for me. Maybe, yes, it's a niche type of product, but I really get into it. But it ended up just becoming just a hassle and a headache overall, and I just didn't feel like dealing with all the different type of stuff that you have to do with Steam Deck. Now, the OS is awesome. Obviously, having your PC games is great, and like I said, if you can tweak it and get it to work with what you're doing, it works well with indie games and other things. Like, it's awesome. Like, there's so many good things, but you can clearly tell that it's not a dedicated device. I mean, on top of that, no physical games, which that's something that I know physical games are dying out, as people say. But still, I would like to have the option to at least try to have physical games, you know? And there's no physical games, obviously, it's all PC. But on top of that, when it comes to the games and everything, you just have no idea when it comes to how it's going to run. Like, you just have no idea. There's times when I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be good, it's fine, plays great. And then it's like, no, I got to change this in the settings. And there are also times, like with Persona 3, I think that's really what frustrated me. With Persona 3 Reload, anytime that I played it on my Steam Deck, I was like, great, Persona 3 Reload, Steam Deck. I tweaked around with the settings and all that, got it going. But then when I transferred it back to my PC to play it on the PC. Obviously, I got a much better graphics card, 30 series plus at the time, and it would have the old settings. Or if I went from my PC to my Steam Deck, it would have the settings for my PC and it would slow it down and I have to go in there every single time. And yes, it plays great on there if you get the settings going and, you know, great on deck and all that. Atlas has been pretty good with that, but it got to be a hassle. And even when I tried to hook it up to my TV through a dock, and yes, I know that there's an official one or there's ones that work better, but the dock that everyone told me was good that I researched online ended up not being good. There was compatibility issues. I have an LG CX OLED. I don't know if that's not supported with the dock that I had, and I had other people try to tell me, no, you have to use this dock, and I know there's an official one, but I couldn't get it at the time, and they said you can use any dock. It's just like so many headaches with this thing to where it wouldn't display properly on my TV, and it was weird even when I tried to get it to work, when I tried to tinker around with it with the HDMI and stuff. It's not instant like the Nintendo Switch 1. And there was just so many times when I just said, it's just not worth all of it. So I decided, hey, look, I'm going to sell it. But I wasn't so sure. Like I said, before the Nintendo Switch, this Nintendo Direct, I was not so sure if it was something that I felt that I needed to do. That's why I held on to it for so long. I've had it for a year plus now, you know, and I haven't really put too much time into it. But I wanted to see what they have. And now that we got the confirmed specs, apparently the Nintendo Switch 2 is 10 times stronger than the Nintendo Switch 1, according to NVIDIA, and it's got ray tracing, and it's got tensor cores, and it's got DLSS, and it's got all these nice features, and it's going to be seamless, and the games are built for it. And I think, to me, that's the best thing about it. It's not just a portable PC that somehow plays games on there and you got to check to see. It's actually a game device system with the games built, coded to the metal, coded and built for it. Each one, not optimized for it or whatever the case is, but actually built for it. When they're releasing that game, you know it's going to be built for it. And yeah, there might be some performance stuff that's not quite as good on Steam Deck or a ROG Ally or one of these other devices, but you know it's built for that device. If they're doing good with the port of the game, it's going to be awesome on there. And based off of what we've seen so far from the Nintendo Direct, yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. Like, yes, you're not going to get the same frames as like a PS5 Pro, which, you know, that's fine. I have a PS5 Pro. It's cool. You know, my PS5, my regular one, broke. So I have a PS5 Pro, or at least didn't break, but the HDMI wouldn't let me capture footage like I needed to for Assassin's Creed Shadows and for Atelier and other games. But when it comes to like a portable device or a hybrid device where you want to be able to take it anywhere and play, in addition to docking it and having it be instant and just come right up, the Steam Deck just wasn't that. It just wasn't good enough at all. So I finally decided after a year plus or so to just get rid of it. And like I stated before, this was the only opportunity really that I was going to have before I got rid of it. So I can say, hey, look, my Steam Deck was right here at least, right? I guess I can talk about it and not have it, but it was really the last opportunity for me to do this. And once again, it's just a video that I felt, hey, look, maybe some of you guys would want my opinion on how I feel about it, considering I have stated that I have a Steam Deck, like if you watch my live streams, but I haven't really said my overall opinion on it. After using it and kind of seeing what it's about, I think that there's some really cool features, but I'm not in love with the trackpads though. I think that it makes the system just much bigger and it doesn't need to be. If it's a handheld system, you don't need to be having trackpads, and I think that's one thing that's just like too much PC stuff in there overall. Switch 2 has mouse mode, but it's done so nice. It actually clicks off with the Joy-Con, so it turns into one. So it's just so much more intuitive with a lot of the features and things. And these trackpads just make it look gigantic overall. So it's a great device. Like I said, it's a great device. It works well. It can do a lot of things. It's got the emulation stuff down. It's got a lot of the indie stuff down. It's got obviously big games you can play it on there. Some developers have some optimizations, but there's too much tinkering. There's too much messing with things. There's just too much nonsense for my liking. And with Switch 2 and what they showed off and the capabilities of it and the DLSS and the dock and everything and what they're going to do with the games, you know, and I think this is probably the biggest thing that I love about Nintendo, at least, or even just consoles. You know they're going to make games and have events and presentations that get you excited, that get you hyped, that show off the games. It's like PC, it seems like such a muted platform, or at least Steam Deck. There's nothing really built exclusively for it. It's just like, oh, it's a PC game, then see if it can play on there, right? It's not like it's built for the device. So to me, I know that's like, maybe it's not that big of a deal for some of you guys. That's just what people like. But for me, I like to have that atmosphere overall of a developer or more like a publisher that builds games, these experiences that are exclusive for the device and really are optimized and target and say, hey, it's built for this. Steam Deck doesn't really have that. It has stuff that's optimized afterwards, which is great and can be almost like that, but Valve does nothing overall when it comes to like, hey, a regular flow of games. Like, let's say if there was like another Left 4 Dead, right, or another Half-Life, or if they continue some of their actual stuff like Portal and certain games that they've done before, like they don't even do that, and it's just not as exciting. When with the Nintendo Switch 2, you're gonna get that. You're gonna get those Nintendo Directs. You're gonna get those games built specifically and fine-tuned for the system. So just kind of like overall, guys, just to make sure that I'm very clear on this, the Steam Deck isn't bad. Like, it's not a bad device for people that want to tinker with things, for people that want to do the emulation stuff, for people that want to kind of mess around and have a lot of different applications and things. But for people like me, where, you know, I don't have a ton of time to game outside of what I have to do for my streams or what I have to do in my little free time. I'm taking care of my boy, with my wife, you know, household to hold down overall. And whenever I do, I want it as frictionless as possible. I don't want to have to add more things in overall. And I want to have like that, I would say, that type of community in terms of the games, like the publisher that really puts out those unique experiences specifically for it. And it just seems like there's just so much other stuff Steam Deck is just not for me. Like, I don't feel like tinkering with doing all that type of stuff, man. I just don't feel like doing it. I don't have as much time to play games and do all that. And I think that the Nintendo Switch with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition has kind of showed me that. It's been showing me that all generation because I played my Switch way more. But with the Nintendo Switch 2 presentation and the games like Donkey Kong and Mario Kart and more that's coming out, and even seeing those really nice editions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom that are coming as well, just made me think, man, I don't really need this anymore. I will say, in terms of positive stuff, I think that value-wise, Steam Deck is so good from a value proposition-wise. I mean, we've seen the prices with Nintendo Switch 2, the game prices being $80 for Mario Kart World, being $70 for the Donkey Kong game as well, Donkey Kong Bonanza, being higher priced if you want to buy the Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge versions of some of the Nintendo Switch 1 games coming to Nintendo Switch 2 editions. There's definitely some high prices there. You can get deep discounts on Steam, and it's great for that. But like I said, man, the lack of actual physical, which of course Nintendo Switch 2 has the key card thing, which I still think is a better. I don't like it, by the way. I would like to have it all on the cartridge, but the key card system for a digital game is actually better than just a straight up digital game, in my opinion, because that digital game can be sold. That key card, you need it to unlock the game, so that can be sold, it can be traded, borrowed, whatever the case is. So I do think that's better than what the solution was on the Nintendo Switch 1, was a digital code, one-time code in a box. This one actually gives you a little bit more ownership of that digital game and almost kind of mimics a physical game overall. But if you're looking at the value of the Steam Deck, the value of the Steam Deck is so nice and it's really good. So I can't sit here and say that it doesn't have that. And yeah, that's something that I hope Nintendo would improve with the value of some of their stuff overall in terms of the prices or sales or discounts or voucher system. Steam Deck's going to always have that on lock. Steam's going to always have that on lock. So I can't sit there and say that it wasn't cool to see that. But ultimately, with Steam Deck, I just ended up buying a bunch of games that I never play. Or, you know, like with Steam, just in general, you just buy a bunch of stuff and I never play any of that. Like, I just say, oh, wow, look at all these deals. And then I don't have the time. I mean, there's only 24 hours in a day. You got to sleep for maybe 5-6 hours, maybe a bit more for some of you guys. You got to edit and work. For me, I got to edit and I got to stream and I've got to be a dad and I've got to do a bunch of other things. So it leaves just so few time to even play all of these games that you get on deep discounts on Steam. So usually now, whenever I play a game on my free time, it's really something that I want to play, and I'm playing that game, and I have a backlog the size of Africa. So I mean, like, it's one of those things, man, that I really just need to get on that backlog too. But so many good games just keep coming up that I want to try. But anyway, that's enough of me yapping for so long at this point. If you enjoyed the yapping, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and of course let me know, are you into the Steam Deck? Are you looking forward to what they're doing next? Are you going to purchase one? How do you feel after the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct? Do you feel like, okay, well, maybe I do want to get a Steam Deck? Do you feel like, okay, no, I want Nintendo Switch 2, my purchase is secured now at this point? Let me know what you guys think, and of course, good vibes all around when it comes to whatever you're into playing. So what do you guys think about everything? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.